Today's Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. We are here for a work session. As always, we will start with the pledge. Jody, can you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jody. Okay. Moving on to discussion items. The first one here, Woodson, Superintendent Woodson has a commitment that he has to attend, so we're gonna take him first, and then we're gonna continue following. We are here for matters surrounding the dedication of Berman Boulevard.
Yes. I guess the first thing is, we had people retire, 2 last year, another one, I believe, earlier this year. I have one retiring in January, and one possibly leaving to go to another department. I'm already short-staffed. How can I be expected to add more roads to my list if I don't have the personnel to do the job? I don't get it.
Okay, so.
Why am I not being able to replace retired employees?
Okay.
I also sent you an email this morning on my displeasure on how do you want me to take these roads over and I'm short employees?
Yeah, well, we've been telling you for years, if you need more employees, you gotta come to us and tell us, and I think definitely you need more employees. I mean, you've been at the same staffing level for how many years? But it was always the plan when we took this property over from the Navy, that the infrastructure and the buildings, the town would eventually take those roads over for the map of Calverton Camelot. When the planning board approved the subdivision, I think it was in 2000 or 19, actually, was it?
Long time ago.
2003?
Yeah.
2003.
Something like that. So when that subdivision map was approved, it was always intended that the town was gonna take over those roads. And you probably have the same staffing level that you had in 2003, if not less.
Well, as
So-
of now, I'm short 3 people. Like I said, I may have one transferring, I may have one, and I know I have one retiring in January. So that's a total of almost 5 people
Yeah.
that I'm short. How do
What
you?
about equipment, Gio? You have enough equipment to assume
I'm
now?
probably gonna need an extra truck for that area up there. Just to let you know, if I have to merge, if I'm not allowed to hire replacements, I'm gonna have to merge 2 plow routes. And our average timing for beginning to the end is 8 hours on a regular snowstorm. If I have to merge routes, you're talking 10, 12, 14 hours before, considerable amount of time added to snow plowing. And God forbid, we have a big storm, Other things that are gonna be required is snow fence up there, which is gonna take time. So,
I don't know about that. I mean, the
Well-
business owners within the park have been doing their own snow plowing for the most part for a
I'm
lot
not
of the
doing, I'm
years.
snow fence.
Yeah, I know, but, I mean, we could look into that and see how much snow actually flows over onto the road. I can ask the people that have been doing the snow plowing, but, we should look into that, but you
Well,
should have
one of
your-
one of the things I would like to do up there is we have all those trees and make a natural barrier so we don't have to do snow fence.
Great idea.
And that I've been wanting to do on some of the farm fields where we have issues at, put a natural barrier. And then I don't have to worry about doing snow fence in those areas. But that takes time. We're finally catching up on paving. And as far as, you just don't hire somebody today and put them in a truck tomorrow.
Right.
They have to be properly trained, otherwise they're gonna hurt people out there, do damage equipment. It's just doesn't look good, so it takes time. That's why earlier this year we put in for additional employees. Now, I don't know who came up with the idea that you can't hire or replace, but I see other departments hiring and promoting people And I was
So
told
that's-
it's not essential for the highway department. I don't get it.
Gio, no one said we're not hiring. We are following what the governor and state, guidance, that they, have promotions on hold until we can get through this, emergency disaster, that we're currently in. Essential employees, we will make an exception.
Sure.
No one has been promoted since COVID started. And we have hired people, we had to hire an engineer, we had to hire an IT person. Yes, we have, because they're essential and they're critical, so.
And so is the highway crew.
So the
So-
highway.
But this is the
So I
first
don't
we're
know where
hearing
that
that you
came
need
from,
extra
but it's-
people.
yeah.
I mean, it should have been on a work session agenda and we should have discussed it in the past.
Well,
Have
I
you-
believe this is the second time I've brought it up, as far as, hiring, and this year.
I'm gonna have to go look back through the work session, cause I'm fully supportive of it. You need to replace the people that you've lost, and if you need more people, you gotta get more people, but that's something that you and your liaison should bring to the
Bring to
board
us.
and saying how many people you need. Then we sit and we talk with the personnel director about what the salaries are, we talk to the CFO to see if the money's budgeted for, or,
Well, all these employees that I lost, the money's budgeted for. Right now, all I'm asking for is replacements.
yeah.
Once I get everybody replaced and then get everything figured out, it's just not throw people here or go here and do this. Everything has to be marked out and done right. Otherwise, you put the public at risk. If I hire somebody and put them in a 5-ton truck and send them out there, you know, it takes proper training to train people, and it actually takes a few years. Now I'm stuck with, and if I'm not mistaken, I sent this out in June, to get somebody hired to replace these people.
Last month, so.
Now, what happens
Well,
is
even
I
if
got,
not, we're at the table now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's move on.
and I
well,
mean-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now I have August, September, by the time this all goes through, maybe
think we're all
September
supportive. I
or
just-
October,
Yeah,
I'm hiring people and you know, look what I have to deal with.
So Gio, as the supervisor brought up, and as I'm sure you know, economically, we're sort of watching our hirings right now, but I mean, 5 employees is a lot to be down, and they are essential, so certainly I feel, as Frank brought up, that we're in agreement that, you know, this is something that we would wanna move forward on.
So
Right,
Frank,
and-
would you have a discussion with the superintendent and
I would
figure
love
things
to.
out and bring it to us
Yes.
for executive session?
And,
Good.
and have Meg.
The sooner
prepared.
the sooner the better. I mean, I wouldn't have found out about this if I didn't call Meg last week and go,
well, I think that's
so
who we
what's up
really
with
need to
the,
bring to the table is Meg and probably.
Actually, it was at a work session where the resolution came forward saying that we were gonna take the roads over, and I made the statement, has the highway superintendent agreed to this?
correct.
And they said, no, we don't have anything in here from him, and I said, well, then we can't adopt the resolution until Gio is comfortable
Correct.
with it.
So,
And
with
I will-
with the agenda item being that you would take over the
Roads at Cal,
roads,
Bremen.
under the understanding that you will be fully staffed,
Correct.
we still need to know that you will take over the roads.
Well, he's opposed, and he has every right to come forward with his,
Right.
and he is opposed to it, and that's why we're here. at
So,
work
but
session.
if, under the assumption that we will take care of his staffing requirements, it's a pro quo, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
you
there
would
was
be
a-
good with that as long as staffing was,
Yes.
Attendance.
There was a couple other issues, but I guess we're still working on the leaf thing. I met with the environmental guys. It's more than just this, what we're talking about. It's a combination of couple of things that, you know, we need to get squared away right away, because decisions have to be made on where we're doing in November.
All right,
Right.
Gio, so again,
All right.
you have your liaison there, and
well,
he'll
the
bring
next
it
step
to
would
us.
be to get
You'll
together
work
with
us.
Meg,
Okay?
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and so we have cars here to, there was apparently there was some type of arrangement made, and I guess have them, enlighten us. Bob?
The town engineer, I mean, this subdivision has been going back and forth for the 10 years that I've been on the board. As far as improvements that need to be made, there were like low spots, there were drains that were too high, that the water wasn't running into, like, over the years, the stop signs have been put up and then stolen, and then they had to put up the stop signs and the street signs again. So the town engineer has given a statement saying that everything is done as per the approved subdivision map. And the only thing that I wanted was from you saying that you were ready to take the roads over. I know that the town attorney's office is ready to take the roads over. The person that's been, floating the bond for the last 20 years wants off the bond. And the people that are doing business in the park want the town to take the roads over so that they know that the roads are gonna be plowed and they can get to their places of business. So that's all I wanted. If you're saying you need more staffing in order to take over these roads, then that's something that we're gonna discuss, and I'm fully supportive of it.
I will, sit down with, Frank,
And
Councilman
Meg,
Frank.
yeah, I mean,
I might be missing something, but why don't we just give him the authorization to
Right.
hire 3 people?
Right.
Why do we have to waylay this
Yeah.
again and again, and he needs to get these
Exactly.
people
Well,
on
we
a
need to
train?
know what 3 people they are, and what the cost is, and.
Well, it's budgeted for, it's budgeted for in the 2020
and-
budget, he
and
doesn't
talking to
have
me
these
about it's
people
not gonna
working.
change that.
He's actually saved money because
Actually-
he's had these people not working for him, and they've been included in the budget.
Actually, Bill said it's 2 people are budgeted for.
So we have to make sure, and also, something could be in someone's budget, but however, our budget because of COVID is under. So when we say, yeah, it's in the budget, it was in the budget last year, pre-COVID, now we're operating on a shortfall. So everything is not in the budget, and, we got word from, the governor's office that they're cutting a lot of fundings, by 20%, including the Ames tax, the CHIPS tax, Senator Thiel, spoke to us, and so things are coming down. We're not gonna have the funding that we always had.
Is
But we
that
need
for
to
next
work-
year? Because I received all my CHIPS money this year.
Yeah,
For next
So
year.
it would be for next year?
Yep.
yeah,
Well,
so,
can-
yeah, the CHIPS money, and thank God that you got it, but the Ames money apparently is gonna be affected. They're talking about it in the school district, across the board, and so these are the challenges that we have to deal with together.
Well, he has to be very careful because out of the 600 highway departments in New York State, a lot of these towns rely on that CHIPS money. I mean,
know.
that's the only way they're able to do anything.
You know?
So, he's got a
Yep.
big decision to make.
Yeah.
My main decision now is to have adequate employees for what we need to do in this town.
And we just said we're all
we need
supportive, so
to-
let's,
We need to do, interviews now, so I can get these people trained. I mean,
Gio, we do interviews in Zoom, we could start them tomorrow.
so
it-
just
yeah,
see Meg.
fine with me.
Yeah, it's just a matter of going to personnel and figuring out if, Bill, you wanna come up as
You have
far
to
as the budget,
advertise
what
the
we have
position,
budgeted?
and then
Yes.
you have to get the applicants in, and the resumes, and then Catherine and Tim will interview them.
They've been
And-
able to do Zoom in 2 days. Just
I know, but we have to
paperwork.
advertise it and get resumes in for people that are interested in those 2 highway positions that were budgeted for.
I think we all know here, nothing happens overnight in town government. It's
Yep.
like walking in
Got that
knee-high
right.
mud all the time. And honestly, the sooner we can get this going,
We'll get it.
if he's got 2 in the budget, why don't we authorize him to at least do the 2 and then look into it for the 3rd? I mean,
Yep.
just,
Okay.
We're
let's
here,
get it
let's get it
going.
done.
And,
Right.
and I like that idea,
Yeah.
Tim. I'd say let's move on the 2 right away and then look at it. We wanna be supportive to you, Gio, and help you.
I appreciate it.
Do you know what 2 employees they are?
I haven't even done interviews yet.
No, but
No, what
do you
position?
Is
mean?
it a maintenance mechanic one? I mean,
Drivers,
Drivers.
Drivers.
drivers, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
all
good.
right, there we go.
Did you wanna add to anything, to this, discussion?
There was some comments made about the resolution getting in, and the problem we have is, and it's already been discussed and probably or ad nauseum, is this subdivision was approved a long time ago. We chose to bring the developer into default. We had a settlement. The road started to get developed. We now have a determination by our consulting engineer that the roads are in substantial compliance with the approved map and plan. We have to take them. If we don't take them, we're getting sued.
right.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's, and I think Councilman Bayrod, Councilman Hubbard we have to provide for an additional 5 miles or whatever it is of roads that weren't part of the system before. So, the reason I wanted to bring it forward is because I wanted to get the issue to the forefront. It's got to get resolved because, again, We're at the point where we have to take these roads. They were intended to be taken before Gio was highway superintendent. There was a decision made that these were gonna become public roads. I feel for the highway superintendent with his circumstances, but again, I wanna make sure the town board understands that, you know, this has to be done. So I just wanted to stress that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thank you,
Okay.
Bob, we can move forward with this, we wanna be supportive of Gio, and apparently these roads, this was decided when Gio was still in elementary school, I think.
I'm not sure if it goes back that far, but it was definitely before he took his present position.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Okay,
Bob.
good.
Thank you, Gio.
All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, have a good day.
get it
All
started.
right,
Chip, can you bring in Tara?
next on the agenda, we have, matters surrounding license agreement for Columbus Avenue building at Stotsky Park, and that would be Kent, Prudente, and Dillingham.
So I'm gonna invite Anne Marie, to come up, and Drew, maybe you wanna be up in the first row in case we need you. And I do have the applicant who's on Zoom. I'm gonna introduce her in a minute. We have someone who's very interested in bringing a preschool over to the Stotsky Park facility, which, is a great facility. Actually, my kids went to preschool there. So I'm gonna introduce Tara and let her just tell a little bit about what she has in mind for the building.
Sure. Hi, my name is Tara Kuchansky, and I'm the owner and operator of Bloom Learning Center. My husband and I currently own and operate a center in Moriches. We are excited to be expanding into Riverhead. This location is particularly sentimental to me, as it was once the home of Riverhead Country Day School, where I went to preschool, and later began my career in the field of early childhood education. We have plans for just small interior and exterior renovations, but our main focus will be on the exterior play space, as our curriculum and learning model focuses primarily on outdoor learning and hands-on play experiences.
Perfect. So I'm gonna, Anne Marie, do you wanna come to a mic so you can just tell about how we're gonna do the contract?
Well, I
You know, I
think that
didn't-
we need to talk about whether or not we're going to go into contract, because when Riverhead Country Day School was there, we had raised the cost that Riverhead Country Day School had to pay as far as the maintenance of the building and everything else, because our Buildings and Grounds was maintaining the building. And that's why, one of the reasons why Riverhead Country Day School left. So I'm just wondering if the rent price is similar to what we were charging Riverhead Country Day School #1, and who's gonna be responsible for the maintenance of the building and the grounds.
So we've been working on all of that, and I'm gonna let Anne Marie, and Drew's here, Drew's been on top of it as well.
So the town board probably will recall that Tara seeks to only license half of the building, which was formerly operated by Kitty Fit. The town of Riverhead still has an occupant in the other half of the building, Dayhaven.
Yep.
So with respect to the improvements, I explained to Tara that all improvements would require approval from the engineering department, and they would be done at her cost and expense, and that those contractors would have to pay prevailing wage because it is in fact a municipal building. What was proposed is she would step into the shoes of Kitty Fit, utilizing and operating within the identical footprint as Kitty Fit, no more or nor less. When what was it,
Riverhead Country Day? or-
Riverhead Country Day had it, town board is well aware, they had the entire premises. That's not what is proposed here. It's proposed that the town lost Kitty Fit as a licensee and lost that rent. Tara is proposing to come in essentially under the identical terms and conditions, knowing full well that any improvements done will require town approval and will be at her cost and expense.
And the maintenance?
The maintenance will run just as it did prior, wherein, because it's a town building, we would continue to maintain it. I believe, and Drew can correct me if I'm wrong, we maintain it for Dayhaven. We
Okay.
agreed to maintain it for Kitty Fit. We're not changing any of those parameters.
Okay.
Why? Because again, work done on municipal property must be prevailing wage if not performed by town staff. In addition, and Drew can correct me if I'm wrong, we always guard against any alterations to our property. We don't want somebody doing maintenance. We want to have control over all systems of the building, because just like Kitty Fit canceled their license agreement, if they had done significant alterations, whether to HVAC or electric or anything, we don't know if it's actually appropriate for the next particular use. And engineering department has an interest in all improvements that are going on, because ultimately they have to improve, maintain them. Am I right, Drew?
You are correct.
So they'll have the proper insurances and everything else, and then as far as the yard, the backyard that they use for recreation, that would be maintained by this school, not our buildings
Yes.
and grounds?
Correct, correct. The area that's being licensed is gonna be maintained by Tara. The building itself and the other exterior grounds of the building would be continued to be maintained by Buildings and Grounds.
And we can just give out a license agreement without putting it out to the public? I mean, how do we know that there aren't other people that may be interested in occupying that space if it's available?
Well, that's a great point. Twofold. One, when the town gets a license agreement, you are not, quote, giving a property interest in the property. If we were to lease this space, you are right. We would have to not necessarily put it out to bid, but we would have to do it pursuant to a permissive referendum. Why do I recommend a license agreement whenever it's town property? Particularly this one is a great example. This is located at Stotsky Park. If our recreation superintendent a year from now came up with a type of program that he wanted to run, and he required use of the building for municipal purpose, the license agreement provides, without penalty, we can, quote, take that building, that space back. And you really always want to do that with municipal property, especially when it's located proximate to and part of parkland.
Because I know that the Peconic Community School is looking for a new location also, and because they've now with the area that they can have fewer kids and they need a larger area. I just think that, you know, I haven't seen the terms of the license agreement yet, but I know that Peconic River Community School is also looking for another location, and whether or not this location would be conducive to them. So I don't wanna be partial to one and not to the other, and not have everything on the table to consider.
Well,
Well, just
that-
to, look-
i-
yeah,
if
and
I
if I
could-
could just chime in on that, I believe the Baconic School is K-6. And this would not be an appropriate space, I don't think, for them. I mean,
Okay.
we did discuss that and talk about that. And as far as I'm concerned, this particular facility, this would be, really enhance our community. I know that the Bloom Center, they just built it, and I know she has a waiting list, and it's a very popular program, and I think this is something that our community would really embrace. And
Oh, yeah,
if
for
they're
sure.
stepping into the contract that we have, and they're willing to agree to all these terms, I mean, for me, it seems like a win-win.
So, in
I agree with you. I mean, my kids went to Riverhead Country Day School, and I know a lot of kids from South Hole go there, and it's a very convenient place to bring your kids and drop them off. And it sounds like you have great programs, Tara. No offense or anything to you. I just am saying that I just want to make sure that it's fair for everybody and that there are opportunities for everybody,
Well,
including Riverhead residents.
in anticipation of a comment such as the one you just made, the resolution that's being put before you makes it crystal clear that the town is under no commitment to enter into a license agreement. It only gives Tara the ability to make application through New York State Office of Children's Services, if I'm saying that right, because that process could take 2 months. And if somebody else, another willing tenant, comes along, I feel I have an obligation to present it to the town board, especially if those terms are better. So I by this resolution have not committed the town board to do anything other than to allow her to apply for licensing of that space for that use. Currently, right now, we had a tenant, we lost the revenue. This is an opportunity to restore the revenue to the town. But until it's licensed, it wouldn't be ready to go anyway.
Right, and would there be a benefit to Riverhead residents as far as the children that are residents of Riverhead, as far as the fee schedule for those students to attend the school?
Those are all things we have to work out, but certainly such a, you know, fine, high-level facility would enhance our community, and I think it would be embraced and welcomed by the young families that are looking for good daycare in Riverhead.
Me too, and seeing as it's a Riverhead building, it would be
Right.
great if there was an advantage to Riverhead residents, students, that they would have first opportunity to get in there, and that they would, if not, that they would have a reduced rate, seeing as we own the building.
Town board did not require that with your previous
No.
licensee, Kitty Fit.
Right.
That was a
But it's-
recommendation that came from the Recreation Department, and, you
I
know,
know,
it's
I'm just,
You mean
it
in
wasn't in
regards
there.
to this facility?
Kitty Fit.
But that wasn't, what we're trying to do is step right into the same contract and terms that we had before, correct?
Correct. No, I'm just
Makes
pointing out the
sense, and it's-
fact that the town board approved a license agreement with Kitty Fit that did not put that requirement in. I'm not saying conversations couldn't take place
Yeah.
if the facility passes the licensing requirement of the state,
Yep.
you know.
For the record, I fully support it. It's much needed, Tara, in this town. You will have no problem filling chairs in the classrooms, if you will. Especially now with the COVID situation and with school, public school being what it is, with maybe some days in school, some days home, there's definitely gonna be a need for childcare, more so, I think, than there was before this epidemic, or pandemic.
And I actually love the idea of someone who grew up in Riverhead moving in there, and the facility that she has, the Bloom Center, is a real state-of-the-art facility, all natural products and such in there, correct, Tara?
Correct.
And very successful, and I just think I'd be very proud to have such a facility in Riverhead.
Well, there certainly is a great need for it, so I support it too. I just wanna make sure that the contract, as I did with Kitty Fit, and as I did with Riverhead Country Day School in the past.
Can I say one more thing? I think I heard Anne Marie say that, you're gonna make sure that I get OCFS licensed first. And I just want to, have the understanding, I can't get fully licensed by OCFS until I actually sign a lease or a license on the building and have insurance information. OCFS will not do a final write-off until I provide them with my insurance, and I cannot get insurance without a license, so there's gonna be a catch-22 there.
Well, when you're at the stage where the state advises you that it's the last cog in the wheel, then we'll get to that point, because, you know, I'm of the position that, and the reason why the resolution is worded that way, and I explained to you, I would never advocate to my town board to enter into an agreement with somebody without the commitment to pay the license fee. So.
Of course, yes, I understand that.
Okay. So you expressed to me that it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months, and you did not want to commit to a license fee during that paperwork process. And that's
Correct.
why we're moving this way without a guaranteed license to you. So when you get to that last cog in the wheel, obviously, you'll let myself or the councilwoman know, and then we'll represent a license agreement to the town board, and you will begin paying a license fee.
Correct, yes, I understand that. And I think we're actually going to move faster than a month, 3 months, it seems.
Okay.
Tara, what age groups do you plan on having?
So in those 3 classrooms, I'll be able to license one for 18 to 36 months, and then I'll license, 100% I'll license one for 3 and 4-year-olds. And depending on what the schools are doing, I could license one for school age, because I don't know if the schools are gonna be doing 80s and BDs. We'll have to wait to see what the governor's orders are and what makes sense for the community. So if it makes sense to take school-age kids and do their online learning with them within our facility, I will. If it makes more sense for the community for us to do 2, 3, and 4-year-old classrooms, we could do that as well.
Understood, thank you.
So
You're welcome.
you're going to try to meet the needs of
Right.
our community. You're gonna be looking at what
Oh,
Riverhead
yeah, we would
needs.
have to
Yep.
meet the needs of the community. I think there's a large need in Riverhead. I get a lot of phone calls, and I have families coming to my center in Mauritius from Riverhead and some as far as Mattatuck.
Wow, that's
Right.
great.
Tara, thank you. This is, thank you for bringing this to Riverhead, and I know that Catherine, you spearheaded this, and it's a great effort, and I know, Anne Marie, that you worked on, I can see you did your research, and you answered a lot of questions, and I think it's a great project, and, you have, Catherine and Tara, you have my support.
Yes.
Looks like the boy.
Mine as well, yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that also Drew and his office have been working hard to get Tara needed so many documents to get things going and.
7 documents.
7. Did you have anything you needed to add, Drew? Okay. Since I made you come over.
Morning.
Good morning.
There are 7 documents that Tara requested from the town in order to, I guess, sign the license. We have secured 5 out of the 7. The last 2, one is a health department inspection and the other is a kitchen inspection. We know that both were done. The previous previous licensee, thank you, that was in the building, they did have a kitchen inspection and they had a health department inspection, but they no longer have those documents. So we called the health department. I guess they're on a skeleton crew and we're just waiting to hear from them. We'll foil if we need to. So those 2 documents are outstanding. The one thing that we will need is a description of the work and the materials, both inside and outside, just so we know that it flows with the rest of the facility and the town's rec department.
Right, and that would be, so once we get the list of materials, I think Emery said that they would be paying for that cost, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't anticipate more than a day review period. It doesn't sound like much.
Okay. Thank you for your help, Drew.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thanks. And Anne Marie, thanks so much. And Tara, thanks for coming into our Zoom meeting.
Thank you so much for having me.
Best of luck.
Good
Fun
luck.
day with the kids.
good luck.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Okay, moving forward, matters surrounding annual Stop the Violence basketball tournament. Jody Giglio.
Is Dwayne in the room?
There he is.
Hi, Dwayne.
There he is.
Hey, Dwayne.
You gotta unmute yourself.
Left-hand side.
On the bottom left, there's probably a microphone and it's red. If you just hit it,
You'll see a little microphone.
With a red slash through it.
Put your cursor on the bottom of the screen.
So anyway, I'll just start by saying that Dwayne reached out to me because every year they've had the Stop the Violence basketball tournament, and we've worked very closely with Dwayne and Larry Williams, who has moved away, in trying to enhance it every year. Columbia Care donated the
Scoreboard.
scoreboard a couple years back as per my request, because they were trying to raise the money for it, and now Dwayne has informed me that they have turned to a 501c3, which makes them eligible for grant money. And there's currently a grant program that's out there now in speaking to, Dawn Thomas.
All right, he's on.
Hi, Dwayne.
It's,
Good morning.
it's the COVID Cares CDBG. So I think that we need to start having those discussions on it, and I know that Dwayne is looking for some of that grant funding.
Okay.
I just wanna mention that Dwayne is a member of the town recreation committee. And Larry was also, and that, when Larry moved away, that's one reason that we need 2 more members on there.
And
So-
I enjoy being on that committee,
Yeah.
and thank you, Ms. Kent.
So Dwayne mentioned to me the other day that they Stop the Violence, and Dwayne, I'll let you go into it a little bit more about how it's about prevention, and it's about mentoring, and it's about positive steps for the future for the younger generation of Riverhead Town. So I'll let you go on.
Okay. All right, for those who don't know me, I'm Dwayne Eliza. I'm a resident of Riverhead for the last 30 years. I had the opportunity of meeting Miss Kent. She was my son's teacher in school.
Second grade.
Mr. Tim Hubbard was his football coach in PAL.
Okay.
And,
The good
I
old
enjoyed
days.
working with them.
Yeah.
How you been? How you been? Okay, what I want to say, we thank, you guys for collaborating with us for the last 14 years with our summer tournament. We have officially become a 501 C3 in December. And our mission is to involve and address needs of the community today. Our community's features is shaped by actions today. Stop the Violence Long Island, which we are called now, believes that preventing efforts provide the best conditions to address issues in our community. Okay, our 3 areas that we are focusing on is equality and access to recreational service and facilities, access to recreational facilities and to underserved communities, like transportation to these facilities for the kids that are cannot get there, civic engagement, educate these kids to get involved with the community, get involved with the, registering to vote and stuff like that. We're gonna try to, help these kids and, young adults into getting involved. And, we're gonna, try to support and train these people or these kids and young adults to opportunity to maybe strive to open up, different businesses in the town of Riverhead, minority business in the town of Riverhead. We want to do a lot, but we can only do it with support from the town and the community, which the community stands behind us 100%. As you notice, when we do these Stop the Violence tournaments, the community comes out and they love it,
And you got
We,
sponsorships for
yeah.
the uniforms this year, and
Yes, we have Glenn Vickers. You guys I know you guys know him. He's been our mentor, our leader. He's walking us through to become, one of these organizations that want to do real good in Riverhead. He's great. We have sponsors from Marilyn Winters, her electrical company. We have sponsorship from her group, the AACE group that she's in. House of Print, it's a minority-owned company on Main Street. They're making our uniforms this year. We had a lot of offers from people outside of the town of Riverhead to make our uniforms cheaper, but we decided to leave our money right in Riverhead. Okay, the money's being donated by different organizations to buy the uniforms, and we just want to do good things. I mean, we went from being a basketball tournament to being an organization that want to do other things all year long. We see a lot of young kids that, I mean, they seem to lose respect for, you know, people as they grow. So we want to try to keep that, you know, in Riverhead, you know. I mean, I love Riverhead. I grew up in Bellport. I moved to Riverhead 30 years ago when I got married. I got my home and my land that I'm living on through the Silver Lining housing development. That was one of the first affordable housing in Riverhead. And that was more like given to us, you know. I mean, and I think it's time for me and a few others, you know, to give back, you know. And I mean, I'm a volunteer. I don't ask for any money. You know, we don't ask for any money. We got a committee of like 8 now, and we're looking for more volunteers. You know, basically, you know, that's it. I mean, you know, and speaking on, you know, this year's tournament, which is going to be August 8th and 9th, you know, in regard to the tournament, in relation to our health and safety protocols, you know, we're looking to have each participant to be checked. Everybody that's going to be involved, the scorekeeper, the referees, they're all going to be checked, temperature checked before the, you know, the games or whatever start. We're going to have each participant's going to be asked, you know, questions about COVID, any symptoms that you have it, whatever. We're going to have sanitation, sanitary stations all around, and only the players and the coaches will be allowed inside. You know, we call it the cage. Riverhead is known to be the cage now. We're known all over Riverhead as the cage in the East End. We're going to try to, you know, go forward with this thing and put all safety precautions in place. And if you want to come, if you want to come watch a game, you have to wear a mask. You know, bottom line. You know what I mean, we got, you know, teams coming from all over who look forward to this, and I think Riverhead is well known all over as far as Connecticut, New Jersey. They know that in August they're coming to Riverhead.
Tell us about your celebrity stars that are coming also this year.
We have, I spoke to AJ Price, who is he played for the Indiana Pacers, he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I believe he's playing in China. Well, he was playing overseas. And I spoke to him direct, and he will be here. We had a conversation with another player who is friends with Chris Dunn, who is a member of the Chicago Bulls. He may be here. J.J. Moore, who plays in our tournament every year, he's a member of the New York Knicks developmental squad. So, I mean, we getting notarized all over, and we got a team that's coming from Connecticut. And the person who's running that team is Randy Smith. He was an NBA player who held the most games without being injured, sick, or anything. He held the NBA league record for not missing a game. His son is hosting the team this year, and he's coming from Connecticut with his team.
Nice.
So, and we're pleased to have all those guys. I mean, and the respect that these young kids give us as putting this tournament on is unbelievable. And I want to give a special thank out to Ray Coyne. He's behind us every year. You know, he tries to, you know, gives everything we need from park attendants right down to porta potties. So we want to thank all you guys. You know, you guys been great. I mean, for 14 years, Tim Hubbard helped us get the court resurfaced, you know, and Jody, you helped us get that beautiful scoreboard we got up. And we want to thank you for that. We were using the tabletop for like 10 years until we got that. And when the other teams come and see our scoreboard, they're like, man, these people got it going on. So we want to thank you guys for all that.
Dwayne, there are 2 guarantees with your program. Number one, if you go down and watch the games, you're gonna see an excellent, high-quality game of basketball. The
Yes.
players that come out are tremendous. It's a great opportunity to watch really good basketball players play.
Yeah.
And the second guarantee is that you're probably gonna have 95-degree weather.
Yes, always.
Because every year, it is so hot down there.
And
We,
wait, there's a
we
third
have-
guarantee. Dwayne,
we have a
you
local
know you're gonna
guy
have
who-
good food,
Yes.
because
We have a
Wayne and his
local,
wife are caterers.
We have a local landscaper, Timmy Crump. He donates hundreds of bottles of water every year. You know, he makes sure that the coolers are full of water from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock when the last game is played. You know, every year, we don't even ask him. You know, he just brings a truckload of water down. And now we're getting, calls from, strangers who are willing to say, look, I'm gonna bring water down. So,
So, what about, rain, any plans for a rain date?
Well,
Or
rain-
where you're gonna go? Cause I know we had that problem a few years ago where we were scrambling around on a Saturday morning trying to find another place for you.
yes, and you had your checkbook out, ready to take care of it. Thank you very much. But, we would use the high school, but knowing the fact that with the COVID, they sanitize it and everything for September, we would probably just have to postpone it to another day and, hope for the best, that's all. I mean, we know we're not capable of using the school this year. Normally, we use the Riverhead High School, but
Okay,
unfortunately,
So
we
you
cannot
just-
if it does rain.
so you would just have to postpone it if it was gonna rain?
We'll postpone it, yes, we'll postpone it to, another day, another weekend where it doesn't rain.
Dwayne, just to, so everyone is clear, the dates are August 8th and 9th
Yep.
at 9
Yes, ma'am,
o'clock.
yes.
And the last game starts at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, the last game should start around 5, yeah, we should be done for the day at 6, by
Okay,
6 o'clock that day.
Okay.
great.
We have, one other thing, we have, we used to use local officials, but being that the competition is so good, we had to go out and get all Division I and some, officials who are training to become NBA officials. We had to go out and bring them in, just because the games are so, so good.
Intense.
Yeah, we need
Competitive?
good officials.
Great effort, and I know the community is always, has always rallied behind you on this effort, and, yep, you should be proud of yourself, you moved further. Now you're gonna be working with the community, you have now a 503, and that's a big accomplishment for you.
Mhm.
It says something about you and your efforts, and, we look forward to working with you.
Right, and I talked
Yeah.
to Glenn Vickers yesterday, and he said he's helping you with that letter that the CDA needs in order to, apply for this
Yeah.
funding for you, so get that into her as soon as possible.
I think he CC'd you, today with the letter,
Okay,
okay? And it'd be a pleasure meeting the new supervisor, I haven't met her yet, due to
Yeah,
COVID.
likewise. Well, it's first virtually, but I'll definitely see you on the 8th.
Yes,
Okay.
without a doubt.
Okay.
All I hear is good things about you, that's all.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you,
for us
thank you for your time, and, thanks, everybody.
here.
Looking
Okay,
forward to see everybody, August 8th.
Okay.
The
Thank you,
invitation's
Dwayne.
out there,
Okay.
okay?
We'll be
Thank
there.
you.
Thank you.
Take
We'll
be
care,
there.
Ray. Now, that was very, very encouraging and
They've worked very hard over the years with that program, they've really built it up, and I'm telling you, the level of ball that they play down there is incredible.
It is.
You think
And
you
you can
sit
see that this guy
courtside
is
in,
just
in Madison
purely
Square Garden.
excited.
yes,
So people
Yeah.
come from all over.
his enthusiasm.
Yeah,
was
very enthusiastic, yep.
We
enlightening.
do miss
Really.
Larry Williams, who moved, I think he moved to Georgia. He moved down south.
Okay, so that was, again, something that was, very promising and,
Sometimes these work sessions are actually very interesting and fun.
yes, yes. Okay, so moving forward, next on the agenda, we have the sewer department, matters surrounding spending, sending two, employees to plant operator school. Michael Rifle, superintendent.
Speaking
morning.
of interesting and fun.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, just not as interesting as fun as Duane.
Yeah. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
it's science, your department is science.
What we have is, we had hired 2 operator trainees in January, the start of January 1st. We hired them with the intent of sending them to school for their operator certification, educating them and training them to be plant operators for the town of Riverhead. There is a class coming up for their basic operations class. It's going to be August 17th to the 28th. It's going to be at SUNY Morrisville, the Environmental Training Center. That's the closest location that there is to train operator trainees. They do have classes on the island from time to time. At this point, they're just not sure what they're doing as far as doing the training on the island. The Article 15, paragraph 11 of the CSE contract allows for the town to pay for the expenses for the operators to be trained. The first class that they're going to take is a 2-week class, and the total cost for meals, lodging, other expenses, books, and the class itself is $3,115. That's per student. Okay, so that money I do have in my budget, because there was an intent to send them to school. I just need the town board's authorization by resolution to authorizing them to attend the school, because it is away from the work site. So.
And Michael, I understand it's in the contract, and, you know, the board is gonna vote on it, and, but I just have a question. We're talking about over $6,000 on 2 employees going to a school to get a certification. What guarantee do we have that they get this high-level certification and decide to move on to another town, and we just spent $3,000 on an employee?
Okay. Good question. That does happen with I know on the water side. On the sewer side, the only other sewer agency that's out there is through Suffolk County, and the town actually pays a little bit better than Suffolk County does. These guys are interested in staying right where they're at. They kind of got their job for life, and there is a shortage of operators. You can't just go out on the street, post for an operator, and have 20 people show up. It's kind of a specialized field,
Sure.
and it takes a lot of education in order to keep our employees certified. So there is no guarantee that they're going to up and go to someplace else. But the town does pay, pretty well as far as their operators go, better than the county pays, which is the only other game in town.
Okay, and it may be possible to put something in the resolution that they have to stay with us for 2 years, and that's not uncommon. I know in the police department, when we used to send people to law school, they would get a law degree and come back and leave. So we would say, you have to spend 5 years in the NYPD after we made you a lawyer, and we need 5 years of services. So maybe we can adopt something like that. It's just an assurance.
Okay, no,
And stuff to
that
the
would
board
probably
to
be
go
more of
forward.
along the lines of a contractual agreement,
Right.
something in the CSE contract to go along with Article 15, where it
Okay.
identifies that we will pay for their school. But the school's looking to start in August 17th, which is less than a month away.
Great.
I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to get that done for this go-round, because it's a contractual item.
Okay, we'll talk
All
about
right,
it.
but no,
We could-
that's a good idea, and I
yeah.
understand that,
Yeah,
makes
we could
sense.
talk to the union and say, either they stay for 2 years or they reimburse the town for their education
Okay.
costs.
Right, yep,
Okay,
exactly,
this is definitely doable and workable.
okay.
All right, thank you. Have a
Very
good
good.
day, Michael.
Thank
I'll
you.
be,
Good, thank you,
I'm gonna
Michael.
send over a resolution for the next town board meeting, which is the first one in August,
Sure.
okay?
All right, very
All right.
good, thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mike.
Mike.
Okay, last but not least, matters surrounding the requirement of update certificate of occupancies prior to transfer of improved real property. Jody Giglio.
Yes, so, in my private business, I do a lot of work in Village of West Hampton Beach, Southampton, East Hampton, Brookhaven, and, one thing that they do in the Village of West Hampton Beach, which I found very interesting, they have in their town code under certificate of occupancy, that an updated certificate of occupancy shall be required upon the sale or transfer of any improved real property, including a condominium, and it shall be unlawful to use or occupy any improved real property after title has been transferred without first obtaining an updated certificate of occupancy. So seeing that we're having all these issues with overcrowding in the schools, and properties are being transferred, and people are, they're investment properties, people are filling them up. The Village of West Hampton Beach requires that they get an updated CO prior to transferring the property, and then code enforcement goes in, they do an inspection to make sure that everything's as it's supposed to be on the certificate of occupancy that was issued when the house was built, that the number of bedrooms are the same, that everything, the basement's not finished, or what have you. And so they pay $50, I think it is, to get an updated certificate of occupancy. Code enforcement will go do an inspection, they'll get their updated CO, then they can go to closing. If they don't get the updated certificate of occupancy prior to transferring the property to somebody else, then when the deed comes across to the assessor's desk, the assessor looks to see if there's an updated CO, and if it's not, then they send it over to code enforcement. And code enforcement starts knocking on the doors saying, you know, you were supposed to get an updated CO in our town code, and you didn't, so now we need to come in and do an inspection to make sure that it's as per the original CO that was issued. And if they don't, then they file a Supreme Court action and they take them to court to try and get entry. Because the whole idea is to keep the properties safe, number one, that improvements weren't made from the time the original CO was issued until it closes. And then the second is to make sure that the occupancy is what it's supposed to be and that it's not an overcrowded house. So I think it'll help us to make sure that the people that are moving into these homes are, number one, safe, and number two, that it's as per the occupancy requirements, which would help with the school district also.
And Jody, this, across many towns, this is practice, so I'm glad that you pinpoint this area, and I think it will help. And the bottom line is the safety and the welfare of the occupants. You don't
Yeah.
wanna have a fire and have 8 people die and 4 kids in the basement. And
Mhm.
that's something that we've always advocated for here.
Yes.
Recently, and it's a great idea, and thank you for bringing it up to us, and
Okay, so I just
Put in
wanted
the
to know if
resolution.
everybody was interested in doing that. If it is,
Yes.
then I'll send it over to code revision and ask them to just add this paragraph into our
Mhm.
code under certificate of occupancy. We'll go to a public hearing, and then,
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I'll wanna look at it at code revision, but from what you're saying, it sounds like a way to help us with these bad players, some of the bad players that we have.
yeah,
Seems like another tool, so, sounds good to me.
right,
good. So
okay,
we're
that's
moving
it.
that forward. Thank you again, Jody. Been really working hard lately, huh? There's a lot of legislation here.
Well, this is something just, I mean, when I was talking to Brad Hammond over in the
I
Village
thought-
of West Hampton Beach, he said this is what they do, and I was like, wow, that's great, can you
I
send me
was
that?
thinking, this must have come from Brad.
And he
Oh,
did,
really?
but, I mean, it's been in their code for many years, but I found it very interesting, and when he sent it over to me, which was just, yesterday, I was like, wow, that's great, let's,
Good. Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you, everyone. This wraps up our discussion item. In a moment, I'll ask for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the following item. Executive session, contractual matters surrounding a license agreement with East End Arts Council, and that would be with Prudenti and Testa. Can I have a motion to enter into executive session? Can I get a first and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? So moved. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and be safe.